Hey, what's going on, gamers? It's Dragon Kills here, and today we're going to take a look back at my playthrough of the Callisto Protocol. When I first heard about the Callisto Protocol at the end of 2020, I knew it was going to be a game that I picked up right away. So like many other people, I purchased the game and played on day one. Unfortunately, the game was played with performance issues. The stuttering was so bad for me that at times I physically got nauseous. And also the drop in frame rates basically ruined most of the jump scares that were spattered throughout the game. I know that since launch, the game has been patched and they did finally release the new Game Plus mode that was missing, but it's hard to ignore some of the shortcomings of the game on day one. I am glad to hear, though, that the team has pushed through patches and cared about player feedback because overall, I really enjoyed the game and hope to see what comes next from Striking Distance Studios. One of the standout features of the game is the story. It starts off fast and leaves you with more questions than answers. You play as Jacob Lee, portrayed by Josh Duhamel, who is sent to a prison facility where shortly after arriving, you begin fighting infected prisoners, and you work your way to understanding what's actually happening at the prison. As you progress through the game, the team does a great job filling in some of the gaps and providing a lot of much needed context to the questions you'll find yourself asking throughout the game. The characters also have what I thought was a really nice arc to their stories, although it may not be immediately apparent. The gameplay mechanics are a bit of a mixed bag. On the one hand, I really enjoyed the idea of the melee combat system they had implemented, and the concept of the 3D printed weapons, which allowed me to switch between different weapons by basically switching the barrel on the receiver, was something that I really enjoyed. On the other hand, because of the dodge mechanics, I found the melee combat a bit frustrating. Intense combat scenes, they felt clunky and didn't always work as intended, which would leave me as a puddle of parts on the floor, angrily awaiting the next attempt. This was especially obvious during boss fights, where I would often get caught on a ledge or a lip in the floor and then die, which always left me feeling a little bit more frustrated than rewarded once I finally did beat a boss. One of the standout elements of the game for me has to be the atmosphere and the sound design that they created. The game does an excellent job of creating a tense and eerie environment, and the blood-smeared walls and creepy noises that came from the vents were very reminiscent of my days playing Dead Space. It's clear that a lot of effort went into these aspects of the game, and they really elevated my overall experience. Despite some of the game's flaws, I enjoyed my time with the Callisto Protocol. After beating the game, I wanted to dive immediately back in, but like I mentioned earlier, New Game Plus was missing at the beginning. I'm interested to see where the team goes with the IP in the future, and I hope they can build on the strong foundation they built in the first game and deliver something a little bit more polished in the future. While the game has some elements of horror survival, it never quite reaches the level of intensity that I've come to expect from this genre. This could be due to the focus on the melee combat, the abundance of save points, or simply the game's overall design. Regardless, Callisto Protocol is worth checking out if you're a fan of the genre.